Memorial Day in Kabul, holding a moment of silence to remember the war dead. These are just some of the stories we're watching for you right now. Well, imagine this, changing the gender on your birth certificate without ever actually changing your body. A man could fill out a form and legally become a woman, or vice versa. Well, New York City is poised to pass a law allowing just that. So as long as doctors support the request, what could it all mean? Here to talk about this is Charmaine Yoest of the Family Research Council and Michael Silverman from the Transgender Legal Defense and Education Fund. Well, let me start, if I could, with you first, Michael. You think this is a good idea?
Yes, Brian, and thank you for having me here, and hello, Charmaine. Transgender people, those who live in a gender other than their birth gender, are one of the most marginalized communities in New York City. Severe and pervasive discrimination characterizes their everyday lives. Employment discrimination and the attendant unemployment and poverty that go with employment discrimination is a particular problem. Here's how it works. When a person goes to apply for a job, one of the things you need to do is to present identification to show that you're eligible to work. For a transgender person, when they present one of the forms of identification, like a birth certificate, that identification shows a gender that's different than the gender they're presenting, and it causes all sorts of problems. And in 99 out of 100 cases, the transgender person doesn't get the job. So New York City said, hey, you know, here's the most ambitious, hardworking city in the world, and we have an entire population that's being systematically excluded from work. Well, let's help them avoid that.
Let me get Charmaine in here for her perspective on this. What do you think, Charmaine?
You know, Brian, I mean, these are some really sad examples he's giving, and any normal person is going to respond with a sense of compassion for somebody who's wrestling with a disorder like this. But public policy has to stay rooted in common sense and in reality. And trying to change reality, our birth certificates are a public record that are meant to reflect what actually happened in real life. And so changing that, attempting to change that reality doesn't really address the problem that he's talking about.
Well, what do you say, Michael?
Well, Brian, I think Charmaine makes my point for me. You know, here we are in real time with cameras rolling on national television, and Charmaine didn't skip a beat in characterizing an entire population of people as abnormal. Just imagine what people say, what people think, what people do when they're not in front of the camera. New York City is just trying to move transgender people from the margins to the mainstream, to give them the opportunity to work that every American deserves. And on this point, the American people are clear. No matter when a poll is conducted, no matter how the question is asked, the American people believe that discrimination in employment, whether it's on account of race, religion, or because someone is transgender, is wrong.
Let me balance this up. Go ahead, Charmaine.
When you do start trying to redefine what normal is, you do end up with real-world, real-life problems, Brian. Let's go back to New York, where the Transit Authority has decided that you can choose optionally whether you're going to use the male or female restroom, depending on your personal choice. Well, as a mother, I should be able to decide. I should be able to know that when I go in a public restroom that's marked ladies with my young children, that there's only going to be women there.
And we're going to leave the discussion right there. Thank you both for joining us here on Weekend Live.
Thanks so much.
Want two big names?